You've probably seen memes and headlines about a man in Florida breaking the law in a creative way. The new series Florida Man comes to Netflix tomorrow from Jason Bateman's production company, and it takes us on one wild journey. So joining us now is Edgar Ramirez and Abbey Lee, who star in the show. Edgar, Abbey, good to see you.
Hi. Good to see you too. Hi.
Hey, so in the series, I mean, you were both on a wild journey across Florida. Describe to us, what was it like kind of filming the series?
Oh, it was as wild as the journey in Florida. Yeah, it was fast, it was chaotic, it was fun. There was a lot of night shoots. We were dealing with, you know, weather issues and lots of characters, different directors. Yeah, it was that TV pace of like, you got to move and yeah. But it was fun.
It was fun. We were in North Carolina, where I personally have never been. I've never been to the South, which added an amazing, you know, like element to the whole production. It was nice, as Abbey described. It was like this kind of like collision of different planets, you know. It was like this big bang. I mean, Abby's from Australia, I'm from Venezuela. We got people from so many different places, all concentrated in our version of Florida. So that was great.
Well, I'm glad you brought up where you're from, because I want to know, being from other countries, what was your first impression of America? Do you remember, like, back when you came here for the first time?
Yeah, I remember the first time. I mean, I left home quite young and I landed in New York, and I remember getting off the plane, and my first thought was, oh, they really speak like that. You know, because I don't know, my mind only really had film and TV to reference, and I didn't know anyone American in Australia, not when I was growing up, and so that was the first thing that I remember.
My first time was, I went to Orlando because I went to Disney World with my family, and I was like excited because, okay, I'm gonna practice my English and I'm gonna speak English, and everyone spoke Spanish in Orlando.
Yeah.
So actually the first time that I came to the United States was to Florida, and then in the Orlando area there's so many Hispanic people that almost everyone is bilingual. So that was like my first impression. It's like, okay, so my English is not really useful here, you know, because everyone speaks Spanish, and that was cute.
Your Spanish went further than you thought. And Edgar, I heard that you had to learn to scuba dive for this role. What was it like learning that skill?
Oh my God! Well, scuba diving. It's the thing is, I'm afraid of water. So it wasn't the nicest experience for me, but sometimes you got to do certain things, you know, for the show and for the art. But I did some of it. I mean, most of it, like the very deep scuba diving in the show, it was my great stunt double, Ryan, who did it for me, because I love water, but I'm afraid of deep water. So. Yeah. So that I did. I mean, we did it between the two of us. But Anthony LaPaglia, you know, the great Australian actor who plays my dad, Sonny Valentine, he did the entire scuba diving.
Yeah, he loved it.
So he's the one. You know, every time people ask me about the scuba diving, I talk about Anthony. He's the one who did his entire stunts under many feet of water.
That is wild. Do you feel like learning to scuba dive made you more comfortable with the water, or are you just like, you did it, you got through it, and you still are not into it?
I think, yeah, no, exactly. I just stay, you know, with snorkeling. I do snorkeling, you know, like kind of like, I prefer that, like too deep water. The thing is that I had, you know, I've been close to drown a couple of times, you know, since I was a kid. I'm a little traumatized with water. So I prefer, you know, to stay close to the surface.
Yeah. You've both had such cool careers. I'm sure you are just like pinching yourself getting to do this for work. I would be if I were you. But I'm really curious, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
I don't know. I get that question. I've had that question before, and I feel like if I think about when I was younger, I mean, I went from everything from wanting to be a marine biologist to the first female Australian football player to, like, I mean, it was always changing. But I think now I would probably just do something else creative. I thought I would probably just paint.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a journalist. That's what I did before I became an actor. So I worked in in political journalism, and I also wanted to be a diplomat. So I don't know. I think that I would be doing something similar in the sense that my dream as a kid was always to travel, to get to know interesting people, and to have fascinating conversations. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. So I think that I would have tried to pursue that same dream in different, in different fields. So I think that as a journalist or as a diplomat, it would have probably taken me to the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Edgar, Abbey, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us here at Studio 13 Live. We'll talk to you soon.